Delegation is necessary to be an effective leader. And yet, it's difficult and frustrating to delegate. You're told to delegate more, but how do you get it right? In this video, I'll share the 4 ways to delegate. And when you understand them and apply them appropriately, you can be much more effective and successful. You're probably told that you should delegate more. But exactly how should you delegate more? It seems like a burden to delegate more. Well, not when you know the various ways to delegate and apply them appropriately. Let's go over the 4 ways to delegate. The first way is the most time-consuming way, and that is delegating and training together. You're delegating a task to someone that they don't know how to do. You want to get it off your plate, but you can't because they don't know how to do it. So you have to train them first and make sure they really understand how to do it. Then you delegate it to them, and you probably have to still hold their hand during the process. Making it more difficult is the fact that you'll probably not be perfectly satisfied with the end result, even though you've held their hand through the process, because they're not going to do it exactly to the level that you would have done it on your own, since you're so capable of handling this task. Don't worry. That's part of delegation, is accepting a less than perfect result. If you can release yourself of the need to get perfection, you'll be much more happy with delegation and more capable as a delegating leader. So that's the first way to delegate. And I realize that that's probably the most difficult way, and you'll have to do it once in a while. Now, the other person is going to really appreciate this way because they're learning something brand new. They're growing their skills and capabilities and hopefully preparing themselves for greater levels of contribution to the organization. So while it's a burden for you, it's a blessing for them. Step 2 is delegating, and you don't have to train, but you're going to give them specific guidelines on how to achieve the outcome that you're seeking. All delegation should include a timeline and an outcome that you're seeking. That part should be clear up front. How they achieve it is important in this level of delegation. So you say, hey, I believe that you can do this, but I want you to do it like this, which is not as satisfying to the other person because they would probably like to exercise more of their own creativity and autonomy in reaching the outcome, but they will accept this because they realize that you may be sitting with too much work on your plate and you just need to offload something, but you need it done a very specific way because there may be demands on the project that require this very specific way of getting it done. So you'll know and they'll know when step 2 is the best step for you. Now let's go up a couple steps to the 3rd way to delegate. In this way, you're not specifying how they do it, but they must check in along the way. You're giving them more freedom, more autonomy in either of the first ways to delegate, but you still want to make sure that they're on track. I've worked with leaders in the past who have delegated and given a little too much room for the person to get it done, and sometimes the leader's unhappy with the result. And they just feel that they should have been more responsible to have check-ins scheduled with the person being delegated to so that they could ensure that the outcome was met and that the person didn't veer off course and take a wrong turn along the way. So that's delegation level number 3. And you should have a good sense of which are the people on your team you're delegating to in this way so that they don't get off course. Generally, the other party is not going to feel disappointed about this. If anything, they may be relieved to know that you're not completely letting them go to run with it because they're not 100% comfortable. And that's a good thing, right? You want them to be a little out of their comfort zone. You should be a little out of your comfort zone. It makes delegation a little bit tougher, but generally more satisfying for both sides. Now, Level 4 of delegation is, as you can imagine, delegation with full autonomy. You're giving them absolute free range to get it done however they want. You're just looking for an outcome and you've agreed to the deadline. But how they get to that outcome doesn't matter. They don't have to check in with you. This style of delegation is for your most senior people, whom you trust to a high degree. You know they're really capable and will probably knock it out of the park to a different part of the field than you would have knocked it out of the park. And that's okay, right? Creative expression and autonomy are good things. And your people will be highly satisfied with this level of delegation, but you may need to go up the steps with certain people on your team to get to that level of delegation. Now, these are the 4 ways to delegate, but it's not 100% incumbent upon you to understand which people should be delegated to in which way on which tasks or projects. You can also talk with your team and ensure that everybody understands the 4 ways. You could even watch this video together with them. And then they can say, okay, I believe that I could take this off your plate, or I believe I could take this off your plate, or I would like to do this, but I would like to receive your training, delegation level number 1. So talk with your team, explain the 4 ways, and then start moving decisively towards delegating more. I think you'll really appreciate what this can do for the productivity of your team and how it can relieve stress off your shoulders to then start acting and thinking more strategically and working on more long-term projects, which is probably what you'd really like to do anyway. I hope this helps you to think about new ways to delegate and understand perhaps why delegation went off course in the past. If you have your own ideas, please share them in the comments, or questions, share them there. If this has been helpful, please like the video, share it with others, like your team, and subscribe to the channel because more videos are on the way to help leaders like you. If you'd like coaching around this topic for you or your team, let's work together. Email me at michael@BAECexecutivecoach.com to explore the opportunities to get coaching around this. Or visit the website, BAECexecutivecoach.com, and explore our services. Thank you very much.